Go ahead and get started. We're moving on to agenda item 7.2, which is a strategic plan update. Mr. Russo?
Thank you, Madam President. For the strategic plan update, as you may or may not know, for the community, we've kicked off a new strategic plan this year, and our plan is to bring 2 or 3 plans to every board meeting, to our our regular board meetings, so that we can have an update to the community that's a little more in depth than what we see on the website. We can talk about, one, like I said, 2 or 3 each time. And so this time we are going to talk about plans 3 and plan 8. And to start that, I will turn it over to Mr. Cusimano, our Assistant Superintendent for Secondary and Adult Education.
Thank you. Okay, Plan 3 lives in the vision area of learning. The vision of this plan is to ensure that all students at all ability levels get learning experiences tailored to their needs. Specifically, this deliverable focuses on providing professional development on best practices that provide access and opportunity based on what our learners need. To be more specific, we will continue to focus on developing and implementing differentiated learning strategies. This is always an ongoing effort to support all students. We have a committee of a diverse group of educators on this team to make sure we meet the needs of all learners. Plan 3 team is closely collaborating with the Plan 13 team, which focuses on Tier 1 strategies and universal supports in order to ensure coherent and effective strategies for differentiated learning throughout our district. Our teams are on target, working through the miles and measures. We have collected artifacts from within our pathways, as well as strategies that currently exist. That's where we're at right now, gathering all those type of things. We have 3 subgroups, each diving deeper into strategies specific to their targeted area. One subgroup is Tier 1 strategies. The other one is Tier 2 enrichment and/or extension strategies, and also Tier 2 intervention strategies, going with our MTSS process. Next steps, the subgroups will be meeting next on October 25th to continue next steps on each focus area, but for now we are on target with all our miles and measures on our plan. And I have Mrs. Gothier here who's going to extend a little bit about the special education involvement.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Gothier, and I'm the proud Executive Director of Special Education. So differentiation or individualization is at the core of what we do in special education. We provide specialized instruction in identified areas in which students require additional support. As already mentioned, differentiation refers to tailoring instruction to meet the individual needs of students with diverse abilities, learning styles, and challenges. It ensures that students, especially those with disabilities, receive appropriate support to make access and make progress in the curriculum so that they can succeed academically. Differentiation is a key strategy to promote inclusivity and equity in the classroom. There are a variety of core strategies that are utilized for differentiation in special education. Some examples include individualizing the content, so varying what students learn to match their abilities and their readiness levels. Also the process, so how are we adapting how students are engaging with the learning materials and how are they participating in those activities. We also individualize the product, so we adjust the way that students demonstrate their understanding of the material. We also work with the learning environments. How can we modify the physical or social environment to accommodate each student's unique learning needs? We also do assessments, so customizing tests to measure student progress according to their needs, and then also pacing, so allowing students to work at different speeds or modifying the pacing of the instruction. We know that by individualizing instruction, teachers can create an inclusive classroom that respects and supports the wide range of learning needs found in all educational settings. This approach helps students progress at their own pace while still engaging with the curriculum in a meaningful way. As a district, we're committed to meeting the needs of all students, and Plan 3 of differentiation is vital in ensuring that this happens. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? I think Trustee Lakui.
Well, I guess my question is, it looks like this is all about teachers and not as much about students. Because the vision area is learning, so I would have expected to see some success criteria that's measuring student learning, but it looks like it's measuring professional development opportunities that are happening, being in committees, things like that. But in presentations that teachers are making to administrators, but I'm just curious how we're measuring student learning, if that's what the vision area is.
Well, the success criteria, you see it there, right? And that's what was established, so that's what we're working on. So it's gonna affect student achievement by doing this, obviously, meeting the needs of all our students, making sure our teachers have the strategies they need to do that is going to be reflected on the student achievement that we present on student achievement reports. So I don't know if that answers your question, but the success criteria is 100% of participating teachers will implement a common differentiated strategy. So that's what the focus of this deliverable is seeing what tools we have in the toolbox right now that our teachers have, and also providing them professional development to get more to support our students. That's what the goal of this specific deliverable is.
Right. I guess when I hear that, it just sounds like we're measuring teachers rather than measuring student learning. And I understand that, of course, teachers affect student learning, and going to professional development can affect student learning, but I don't see how we're measuring the student learning aspect of the equation. But
I think it affects student learning because, I mean, if you look at the vision, it's sure that all students at all ability levels get learning experiences tailored to their needs. So that's our MTSS process to make sure
okay.
our teachers have the tools to help students learn. So ultimately, it's going to affect both.
Madam
Yeah,
President.
I think, if I could just make a comment first. I don't think the question is, I don't think she's questioning whether teachers affect students. I think the question is more, is there some type of success criteria that could be applied? And it may not be in year one, because year one might be the fact that we need to do this training and set it up. But in year two, would there be something measurable to identify that there was student learning and be able to set a benchmark to that?
Yeah, and I can't answer that because this is the deliverable that was set to us by G&D and Associates. This is the plan. So I'm sure there is more to come in year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, but I don't think I know that answer of what that looks like.
And I would just say that, I mean, obviously, we can change it in any way if we felt we needed to, but Trustee Weaver?
So I think the first thing we have to do is be fair to those sitting at this table. Mr. Piscotty, you're saying exactly right. You guys inherited this framework that was pushed through by President Butel, Vice President Ness, and John Silveri. They forced this through. Mr. Russo, you even said at your interview, one of your answers I appreciated, was the vision was very, very long. It was hard to know what it was about. So again, end of the day, you guys are stuck with this framework and trying to do the best you can with it. To Trustee Lakui's point, no, this is not measuring learning in any way. It's essentially saying you guys are doing your jobs, which again is what we expect people to do. It's what people get paid for, and that's great, but should never have ended up in the strategic plan. So my concern is essentially, Mr. Russo, you're starting to run your own strategic plan off the books, asking for feedback from trustees one-on-one, behind the scenes, going to put committees together. Again, we got that in the latest update. So essentially, we have a strategic plan that's very vague, leading to this result, that we're going to have another process and spend more money to actually get short-term and long-term goals. So I'm very concerned with this overall process. And again, but to do due respect to everyone sitting at this table, you guys have inherited it, and that's what you're stuck with.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure I understand what you mentioned about having a strategic plan on the side. Can you say more?
Sure. In your start out, it's the master property plan, which was to go collect data, but then since then, you reached out and said that you're asking for one-on-one interviews with board members, which are not open to the public, that to get long-term and short-term goals, which is what the strategic plan should have been. And then you went farther to say you're going to get community input and develop committees. Again, that's what the strategic plan was. So essentially, because we don't have a good work product from the original strategic plan, you're operating a second one, which again, the strategic plan does fall under the purview of the board. So I'm just pointing out these are all factual things. I mean, it's right in the meeting notes. or your superintendent updates, that's all factually what I'm saying is accurate. Are you debating that?
I appreciate the clarification, because I honestly didn't understand, so now I know what you're saying. My learning in the first 90 days determined some, an additional data mining for us and collection of what we can do with, like 501, for example, right? And that, during the strategic planning process,
Could have been done, it just wasn't done.
It was
It could have been
almost
done.
sold, and then it wasn't, and it came back, and there was a little bit of, I mean, I was watching from the outside, but there was a little bit of confusion there with the city. But having said that, I think I'll stop by saying, thank you for clarifying, now I understand I didn't understand at all what you meant, so thank you.
Right, so, but just to clarify, you are putting in place what the strategic plan should have done because the strategic plan didn't deliver it.
Excuse me.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think there's deliverables here that work on professional development, student learning. It's pretty comprehensive in what the community wanted, what the process was. There just needs to be a real estate assessment of what we have and what we need.
Trustee Annis?
And it's my understanding, too, is it not, Mr. Russo, that you contacted each individual trustee to ask specifically related to the facilities and the RFP that's going to go out to get feedback from individual trustees. I think it's very disingenuous of Trustee Weaver to sit here and asparage your ability to do your job, which is to have
Point of
individual
order, Madam President.
conversations.
She's casting aspersions on members' motives.
Which is to basically
Ennis.
ask questions of individual board
Point of order.
members. That is his role.
Madam President, I said exactly that. He reached out to us one-on-one and asked for the information not to be shared at a board table, so it wasn't open to the public. That's an accurate statement. That's a factual statement.
That is not a factual statement. I did not say don't say anything.
I didn't say that. I said you asked for the information one-on-one, not in view of the public. I didn't say not to say anything. No, I did not.
No, you guys misunderstood. I did hear him. He did not say that. He said it just wasn't said at the board table.
Thank you, President Butel.
Okay. We are moving on. Are we on to Plan 8? Did anyone, okay, please. Mr. Russo, did you have anything else for Plan 3?
I do not.
Okay, Plan 8 then?
Plan 8, Dr. Luca?
Good evening, Board. Madam President, Mr. Russo. Plan 8. So Plan 8 falls under teaching. The vision statement is environments that are safe and reflective of district values will inspire innovative approaches to learning and teaching. The deliverable falls under developing safety and security onboarding processes for our staff. And the project title, it's pretty evident, you can read the project title, but I want to draw our attention to the first success criteria, which is by September 30th, 2024, 100% of individuals will be named to a committee to review safety and security onboarding as measured by a roster and meeting schedule. And then on February 28th, 2025, 100% of training materials for safety and security onboarding will be created and measured by completing training documents and schedules. So we're kind of ahead on this strategic plan. Currently, with where we sit, we've had multiple meetings with our safety security team, SROs, and principals. With the plan number 8, it focuses on standardization of safety and security across the entire district as it relates to staff and contracted employees. So currently, right now, we've completed a safety and security assessment to all of our school buildings, utilizing the state of Michigan grants that were offered to us. We reviewed our security protocols at every RCS school building. And then all of our schools, our school principals and leadership teams have been trained in behavioral threat management assessment. And additionally, each of those teams have now identified BTAM teams within their own buildings. So if we were to dig deeper into the plan, we are ahead in the where we sit with the plan. But though right now the team that's has been created it consists of teachers, students, board members, fire command, police command, SROs, and so that meeting will be taking place in November. Questions, Madam President?
Anyone have any follow-up questions on this one? All right, well, thank you.